Just letting you know, this is only my spoiler first impressions of the episode. Check my pinned comment for a free gift related to this video. And to watch my unfiltered reactions with exclusive bonuses, join my Asha Media TV Club. The link is in the description box below. Now, here's my afterthoughts of this episode of Supernatural.
Let's explore this episode, shall we? Okay. Let's go right back to the beginning-ish. I think my timer was at 47-ish mark. Anyways, I'm just going to go not too far down. Okay, yeah, let's start with the... I'm not going to spend too much time on it. This is not one of those episodes where there's a lot really to it, except for the obvious towards the end there. Okay, so just even the premise of this story of a witch giving a curse to a woman who has her husband stooping the babysitter, and this curse pretty much gets everybody that's involved, even the innocent party who was sold a fake curse, or more or less not a fake curse, an inaccurate one. And just that in and of itself as a story. So the husband here, he comes there and he kills her, takes her heart, the whole thing of taking your heart. For first watch, it's intriguing, right? It gets me wondering who's who, what's what. If you've been watching my reactions, you know I do my best to follow along, no matter how corny or terrible the episode can end up becoming. And there's a part here that I had noted out loud. Actually, okay, let me not go ahead of the footage you're seeing there on the screen. So let's acknowledge this awesome moment with Dean describing to be today's man, or right now, Mr. Right Now for Valentine's Day. I thought that was really fun. And the banter back and forth between him and Sam, that was great. Sam's face. That was good. Now, when I said that it can get a little tedious for me, how they get into their cases, I understand how for comic, that's actually a way for them to use comic relief for these moments when they have to convince each other to start the case. So don't think I don't understand that style and what it's used for. I think because it's just so repetitive, right? Like, for instance, in this case, you're going to just always put in the line, well, we should be looking for Amara. Whatever happened in the previous major plot twist, they address it in a line, and then one of them gives each other a convincing factor to go and look into the case. It's that part of the dialogue that I just don't think is necessary. But I understand, these showrunners have to always keep in mind new viewers, people tuning in for the first time. Now, personally, that structure, because it's a format that is in a lot of shows nowadays, especially with so much competition to get your attention, whether it be on streaming, what thereof, it's just annoying for me. It's just annoying. And some shows are good at doing it in a very clever way, where they don't need to put out so much exposition like that. And I think their attempt at using humor softens the blow of how annoying it could be for me. I mean, this was great, right? You have the whole thing with Sam bugging him about his night out on Valentine's Day, so that helps a little bit. Okay, let's move forward. All right, they go and interview or interrogate the couple, yada, yada, yada. Okay, yeah, this part here, the social media, there we go. I like this part because, if anything, it's a good reminder of how much now social media technology is going to be a part of the series. Because thinking back to when things started and none of this existed, at best it was email, right? I remember making comments about the laptop tech at that time that Sam would have, and it was such a big deal when you could go on Wi-Fi or the internet, so to speak, right? Sam became like the go-to person for that. And now we're transitioning into the peak periods of social media at that time, 2015-ish, Yeah, I like that stuff. I look forward to seeing like what's the next one they'll get to, Snapchat, Twitter, I'm sure. I think we've touched on Twitter. Can't remember if we have or haven't. I know we've touched on Instagram. But little things like that. I like seeing the progression of that in this show. Alrighty, let's go forward here. Yes, we see the husband telling Dean all about the monster on the video. Alright, so that's, I'm not gonna get too much into that. It was pretty whatever. And then Sam confirming the shapeshifter-ish stuff with it. Although that line that Sam said, I'm jumping the gun a bit, but it's just because it's coming to mind, where he's like, it's shifting shapes. No, what did he say? It's a shapeshifter still shifting shapes. Just like, wow. Say that 5 times fast, for real. It's funny, when I'll make a joke like that about saying something 5 times fast, you get that person that will just write it out 5 times, and I'm like, that's not funny. Writing and saying is 2 different things. All right, I'm literally just going to skip down to the end of things, really. Action-wise, I guess here, let's take a look. Well, just because I'm here. With the wife being attacked by I'm calling him a golem husband. It's, I guess, a hybrid of a golem and a shapeshifter. Just because it's so similar in behavior. All right, so we're here at the motel. And I guess, refresh my memory if you care to. How did she know they were at this location? Because I don't think that was on the card that they left her. And maybe Dean did tell the husband where they were. Something must have been said and I missed it, because that's just such a blatant thing to put in there wrongly. All right, so this moment here, I'm just kind of going keep it stable here, where Dean's trying to explain what's really the stuff going on, and I like how it was very confusing to understand it at first. And it's acknowledged in the dialogue, which I appreciated. Okay, so they get to the house. The art of dying, that was a nice touch. I really, really appreciated that. It's small things like this that just makes it fun. Okay, and they get in there. Everything's all easy peasy till it's not, until it matters to have the witchy white witch get in there and do her stuff. All right, so let's focus on this new lore. Oh, forgive me here. The Qareen. Oh, it's spelled with a Q? Qareen. Okay, yeah, this Qareen. It's interesting. Whoever is responsible for creating the page outlook to make it look all old and ancient. Okay, so new lore on that, Qareen. I like how it has its similarities with other monsters that they've presented me. Okay, so this part here, where he's talking about his deepest desire to Sam. I'm like, Daisy Duke. It's like a vague familiarity. I think it's a cartoon character. Okay, tell me who Daisy Duke is, people. Let's leave it at that. But the best part is the rock, paper, scissors. I just want to try to get to that. Yeah. And it's Dean's reaction. Like, just the way how happy he was that he won. Like, he was so surprised. And at the end of the day, anyway, Sam's reaction is just as wonderful, too. Like, he's like, whatever, I'm going upstairs. And I hesitated what I was what I was gonna say at that time, where I was hesitating about. It's just the comedy factor between these two. I mean, all of the highest rated episodes thus far have a lot to do with when they're put in situations that are just so extremely hilarious. But I know, I mean, okay, I'm just gonna come out and say it. In that moment of the hilarity between these two, I was like, I would love this show much more as a funny show, like as a comedy show. It's just stronger. And obviously you can't just change up the whole show like that, but I mean, I'm thinking of one particular show, and I'll just say which one it is cuz well, I don't want to ruin or spoil anything. Let's just put it this way. There is a particular show out there that started out really dark and gritty, like the way Supernatural did, and it got picked up by a different production company, and it just did a 180. It became very light with dark elements, but to a degree, in my opinion, that ruined the entire premise of the show. It ruined the main character. It ruined almost everything. Almost everything. And so they stayed with the CW that turned in from or transformed from the WB. And I think it's been noted that it does get lighter in terms of the visual look of and the feel of the show. The grit is gone, as one of my colleagues has kind of called it, but it's still very dark. You know, it's still very supernaturally. So I guess what I'm trying to say, long-windedly, is if any show would have turned into somewhat more of a lighter comedy with supernatural elements, it would have been this one. I think I would have forgiven it just because Jensen and Jared are so good. And there, I said it. That's really what I was like saying out loud in my mind, that I was scared to kind of say out loud now. When I'm saying it, I would have preferred this show turn into more of a comedy. But it's not to discount the really good aspects of it that makes it supernatural, okay? I'm just saying my piece on that for now. Let's move on. Oh, gosh. All right. You know you have a sensitive fandom when you got to be so careful with what you say. God damn it. All right. So, yeah, he finds the Chiquita. All right, here we are. Taking on the form of Amara. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is what I like so far they've been doing in this season. They tie in main plot lines with the fillers. This whole part, whether you like the character of Amara or not, whether you or like me, where I'm just still like, huh, what's going on with her? I don't really understand this thing with Amara, but still, they tie it in no matter what. They tie it in, and I like that. It's what keeps me wanting to watch every episode and not roll my eyes or grit my teeth at the possibility of a really crappy filler. And this filler so far as an episode is not the best, and so having this makes it helpful for me personally. And having the thoughts projected from Dean to this creature to play on, I thought that was fine. That was well done. That was good. I didn't have a problem with that. But I do have a question, which I'll get to once I get to that scene, that makes me wonder things on a different level if what they're implying about Amara is even true. All right, so this moment here between Sam and the White Witch. I looked at the camera because I just didn't even know what to say when she was talking about her actions, and then he's like, oh, that's very much a feminist. And I was like, all right, that's a very interesting line. Let's put it that way. I thought with the context of what I was understanding in the moment, to have him say that out loud, I'm like, are you mocking it? I don't know. You tell me what you interpreted. I don't even know how to verbalize it. All I know to me was just It took me off guard. That's as much as I could say. It took me off guard a bit. All right, now let's get to the main thing. Oh gosh, wow. Yeah, that part there. I think one of you commented here on my club that her wearing the dress over and over again that gets tiresome to look at. And it's so true. And I'm thinking of the actress because a lot of the times they're shooting these scenes very early morning or very late at night under conditions where it could be really cold. And this actress, I think there was a scene, it crossed my mind, and I don't remember if I uttered it out loud during my reaction, where I think she had goosebumps or chills. And I remember thinking, wow, it must be really cold for her. So it's like Castell, has to wear the same thing over and over again. And yeah. Okay. Yeah, but this whole thing with him wanting her that way, I could see. I resonate now to those of you that think it's just so cringy. But I guess the point of it is where I'm going to get at here that I'm questioning. So let me just try to move forward to that scene. Right just before she was about to kill him. Bear with me here. This new style of my afterthoughts is my first try at this. And yeah, it's right before that, right? Sam gets the heart right before the final blow. And I was thinking to myself, okay, if Amara has this attachment to Dean, this divine connection, would she have allowed this to even happen to Dean? Like, if she's God's sister, then she's all knowing, aside from not knowing where God is, shouldn't she be aware of what's happening to Dean at all times? Wouldn't you be protecting this very person that you're trying to hook up with, really, essentially? I couldn't help but wonder that, Obviously we know he's not going to die, but I'm saying just to get that close to death. Hope you understand what I mean. Like, what would it have happened if Dean is the chosen one? All right, so I'm going to end off with that part of the story, which is the best part of the entire episode. And that is this whole thing about Dean and Sam not being surprised at all. Oh, this is the most best written part between these two in such a long time. Like, well, not that long. They've had some really good moments lately, so I'm not going to knock that out. But this was just great. Coming from Sam, of all people, who knows what it's like to be selected as a vessel. So does Dean with the whole Michael thing. But let me just stick to the point here. Him understanding what it's like to have this destiny or this compulsion or this forced destiny. How about that? Of being connected to someone you don't want to be connected to, like Lucifer. I love the dialogue they gave Sam and Jared as an actor to express back to Dean, yeah, dude, I understand. And I'm not going to judge you. And, kind of brought me back to those earlier seasons of some judgment on Sam when he was drinking demon blood, when he was trying to fight his own supposed destiny with Azazel and all that. And there were some judgy dialogue from Dean towards him. But it's not like sometimes Sam didn't really deserve it because of the actions he took too as well. Anyway, I just love how they turned it on. They used Sam to turn it on to Dean and have that very real talk moment that resonates very strongly for me as a viewer, to not only appreciate this version of Sam in this episode, that I hope to God stays consistent, and then show the vulnerability from Dean's perspective, because he's always, the tough guy. Like, tell me, Dean girls, Sam girls, whatever, tell me if this scene between them is not just one of the best. It's so subjective. Everybody just sees these characters differently. So I'll speak for myself. I see this particular scene between Sam and Dean as the truest version of how I've understood them as characters thus far, despite some of the irregularities in different seasons. That's pretty much it. All right, so there you have it. That is my afterthoughts of Love Hurts. Let me just kind of end off my screen here, kind of where I want it. Yeah, with the motel room. Very interesting motel room. All right, so Ashamoji wise, considering that I likely would only rewatch this episode for this last part as something, as a keepsake to reflect back on if I were to, do an analysis between these brothers. This is one of those episodes where this particular part between them would be useful. Considering that and everything else, I really wouldn't care for. Pace-wise, it wasn't the best. Entertainment value, although it's a new lore, which I always appreciate, it was corny. So, Ashamoji-wise, I think it deserves a 2. I think it's okay for a first watch. And the only reason why it doesn't get it sucks, is because the elements or the moments between Sam and Dean, for me, it was enjoyable, entertaining, and informative going forward with what I hope to be Sam's desire to now save his brother in turn this season. And then we, cycle a different thing the next season kind of thing. The pattern of it. All right, officially then, there you have it. Those are my afterthoughts and my reaction to episode number 13 of the 11th season of Supernatural. If you want access to my uncut, unfiltered reaction to this episode, as well as bonuses that I share only with my club members, details on joining my club is in the description box below for you. So you know the drill. I'm on to the next episode, and I will see you in that video. Bye!
Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos.